right. I don't know what those little spots are on my camera, but okay. I'm still without a laptop, so I have to move one of the desktop computers in here and set it up on the piano bench. Anyway, it's hard to get it centered and set up, but everything looks a little crooked, but I think that's fine. All right, I've got a blanket. And we will start seated tonight. And just find yourself in a comfortable place. And close your eyes and just kind of let yourself get out of your head and into your body. And today we'll work with the acronym RAIN as we move through our practice. And we're going to play with triangle pose from several different angles, and just notice our patterns, notice how it feels to enter it from different ways, and use that acronym of RAIN, which is to recognize, right, and then to allow, and then investigate, and then nurture. And this month, the theme of our classes is faith, right? This confidence amid uncertainty. It's also a principle of action and of power. But there's a lot of things that come up in our internal experience in response to the things happening around us, right, that interfere with faith. Doubt, fear, those are barriers to that confidence amid uncertainty, to that power to take action, right? Doubt and fear just stop us in our tracks and create a barrier. And I find that working with this acronym of RAIN helps us to investigate those barriers. And so we can recognize what's happening, we can allow it to happen without resistance, and we'll specifically focus on the investigation part, the asking of questions. When we ask ourselves questions, our subconscious wants to answer them. And we don't often get to that place. We get stuck in the fear and the doubt, and those are the resistance. So first we have to allow what's happening to happen, and then we can get to the investigation. And that's when we can actually start to take down those barriers in that investigation. And this happens on an emotional level in our bodies and in our experience, in our inner experience. And we're going just to experiment with it on a total present of your day, maybe this latter part of the day. And just see if you can recognize what that is. And maybe name it. And really allow that to exist without any resistance. And begin your investigation first by just asking yourself, where is this residing in my body? Where do I feel it in my body? What am I feeling? Is it a tightness? Does it have a color or a temperature? Does it have a sense of speed or slowness? And just that curiosity, where is it in my body? And you can simply ask, what does this place need? And it may really be some kind of physical movement. But then we get to the N of rain, which is to nurture. And we can tell that place that it belongs. Offer ourselves some compassion. It allows us to more fully process and experience things so that we can move past the barriers to action and power. Remember that pattern and we'll kind of work with it a few more times throughout our practice, but you can gently open your eyes. Since we'll be doing triangle pose, we're just going to kind of warm up our hips, our knees. So just take your legs wide, comfortably wide, and really prop yourself up with your hands behind you. And we'll just find internal, external rotation of our legs. And so you don't want your legs super wide that you can't get this action happening, and see if you can make it happen from your hip, and maybe just do one and then the other. And then you can play with different angles of your legs, maybe bring your legs a little bit closer to each other. Just kind of windshield wipering your feet. And then we'll go a little bit wider again. And then come back to center, and then let yourself sit up tall, turn, and bend your knees. And just get into our spines and our legs here by letting yourself come forward and then pushing through your heels to lengthen back. Pull your heels in to come forward and then push through your heels to roll back. And let this happen through your spine. So let yourself find some extension as you come forward, reaching your heart forward. And let yourself round and push back. And just to kind of turn on everything in this posterior chain of our body with a little bit of waving, turning action. And then come right upright and find some circles in our ankles, and then just some movement in our knee joint. So I'm going to take my right leg and just kind of loop my left arm underneath it and bring my right hand on top of it just to hold my upper leg, my thigh, pretty sturdy. And if this is too much on your back, you can sit up a little taller, or you could even sit on a chair to do this. But first, just start by just finding some circles of your ankle. And go the other way. Get out any creaks or cracks there. And then just find some flexion and point There. And then we'll find that flexion, your dorsiflexion. And you're going to be moving your ankle, but we're thinking more of pivoting here at the knee joint. These two bones here, letting them turn externally and then internally. Externally and internally. Externally and internally. So I've got some just pivoting action happening here. There's not a whole lot that's available in your knee, but it's really helpful for us to move and give some input, some rotational input to our knees just to help those tissues become more resilient. Okay, so now we're going to externally rotate this lower leg and then bring your knee toward extension any amount. And then internally rotate and bend. And this is where we really want to keep it steady, that thigh steady. And your leg doesn't have to get all the way straight. And then we'll switch. So we'll start with internal rotation and lengthen your leg, and then external rotation and bend. Internal and lengthen, external and bend. Let's do that one more time. And then release. Lengthen both legs out again and just find a few of those little waving forward folds. Bending your knees to pull yourself forward, and then you can push your legs towards straight to come back. And I'm still sitting up high. I've got my pelvis lifted. But you might notice a difference from one side to the other. And then we'll switch sides. Just kind of find a comfortable place for that right leg. But the left one, we're going to take with our right arm underneath and hold firm to hold that still with our left hand, and just find some circles of your ankle first. And switch directions. And then flex and point. And it's interesting, you know, this work makes my lower legs tired. So you know that I need to do it. So now we're just going to find that internal and external rotation. So you're going to move at your ankle, but I want you to really focus on keeping your thigh steady and stabilized so that your tibia and fibula here can kind of shift right here under your knee. And then we'll externally rotate and bring that knee into extension any amount. Internally rotate and bend. Externally extend, internally and bend. And do that one or two more times. And then switch, internal and then external to bend. And then go ahead and release that. Lengthen those legs, shake them out. You can massage a little bit, find your little waving forward folds. And then lean back, prop yourself back. And we'll find that internal, external rotation of our hips just with our knees bent. Internal, external. Just wipering our legs from side to side. And come back up, find a cross-legged position. with your right shin in front. We're just gonna find a side bend over to the right. Just bring your right arm down, take your left arm up and over, and let yourself get really long through that left side. And in a purely physical level, you can just scan your body for any intense sensation and recognize that. And allow it to be there without any resistance or shooting it away. And then just investigate, what does that place need? And how can I nurture myself to fill that need? And it may be to move out of it a little bit. It may be to lengthen a little more. Maybe to shift weight onto one hip more. And then come on up. We'll just switch the cross of our legs. And find that side bend over to the left. So left arm down, right arm long. Left shin is in front. You recognize where you feel the most sensation and allow it to be there. And you might notice where you're gripping against that. Often we do. We just reflexively resist. See if you can allow it to be there. And then investigate with curiosity. Just ask, what does this place need? And then see how you can fulfill that need, how you can nurture yourself in that place. We'll go ahead and come on up. Just let yourself sit and just check in. It's that really easy, simple movement. Just notice the fruits of that in your body. We'll make our way down onto our backs. So I'm going to move my blanket out from underneath me and out of the way because we'll kind of need some space. And we're going to play with our triangle pose down on the ground. So make your way to your back. And then let yourself just be long on the floor. And feel yourself settle there. And now imagine that really you're standing. Going to just spread that right leg out to the right, any amount, and then externally rotate and bring your pinky edge of your foot toward the floor. Internally rotate your left foot just slightly. Okay, so we did that earlier. So we've got external rotation of this right hip and internal rotation of your left hip. And that's all we're going to do. We're just going to feel this for a second. And you can let your arms do whatever. And then bring that right leg back upright to a neutral position and slide it back in. Slide your left leg out. Got a wall in my way. And then find external rotation of that left leg and slight internal rotation of your right. So you've got the support of the floor underneath your spine. And just notice what things are happening in your pelvis and your back. We're just going to hold this external rotation of that left leg. And then come back to center. Bring your right knee into your chest and then lengthen that leg. And then see if you can find that external and internal rotation of your leg here. Just kind of experiment with that. And then we'll find external rotation. Just let go with your left hand so you're kind of holding with your right and let this come out to the right. And so maybe it'll come down with a little bit wider space between your left leg and your right leg. And I feel a lot happening here in my hip capsule. See if you can keep your left hip to the floor. And then this time, maybe find a little bit of a side bend, reaching that right hand toward your right shin. And then come up through center. Bend that knee and bring it back up to center. Hug both knees into your chest and just rock from side to side a little bit. And then you can make some circles with your knees. And then lengthen that right leg on the floor. You hold on to your left leg, and we'll just internally and externally rotate. So find some flexion in your ankle and your foot so that you're moving here from your hip and not just from your ankle. Okay, and then we'll find that external rotation. I'm just holding on to my outer left thigh as I bring that leg toward the floor. And you can let go, let it come down. And now just kind of notice the difference from one side to the other. Now, does this right hip need to come up? It's totally fine. We're just kind of investigating. We're experimenting. And then find a little bit of your side bend. Maybe reach that left hand towards your left shin. And bend through that left knee, come back to center. And again, just rock from side to side. You can find circles with your knees. And we'll just roll to one side. And come up onto our hands and knees. And face you. And take your right leg out to the right. And then we'll find some cat and cow movement here with your spine. So let your belly drop and then let yourself round. Your belly drop. Let yourself round. Get into this leg and hip in a different way. So come to a neutral spine. Walk your hands back towards your knee. Come upright. And we'll just find a side bend here. So lift that left arm up. And lengthen. So this is a little mini triangle shape. Let's see what places you can just breathe a little bit more length into. And places that you can maybe just find a little more support. Go ahead and come on up. Just find that kneeling position. Bring your hands back down. So you're on your hands and knees, and then bring your left leg out. We'll do the same thing, cat and cow here. Do one more round of breath. And then you just walk your hand back towards your knee, and then just bring that left hand to your left thigh, right arm up and over. I'm just gonna pause here, finding that length through your right side. And then noticing where you may be resisting sensation, where you can just allow and then investigate what that place needs. Where you might need a little more length, where you might need a little more support. right? That investigation is the exercise of your agency to take some action. And that curiosity is the thing that really dispels doubt and fear. Come on, upright. Your left knee in. And then we'll place our hands, tuck our toes, and just find a downward facing dog. And you can pedal it out here. Bend one knee and then the other. Come lengthen from your fingertips out through your sitting bones. I'm just going to pause and find that investigation. Notice what's happening in your neck and your face. And then allow that to be there. Investigate what it is that that place needs. And then nurture yourself with the support or the softness. Same with your shoulders and your hands. And we'll just walk our hands back towards our feet. And find a standing forward fold. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. And ease your way into it in a way that you can feel the support and the length happening at the same time. Soften into your knees and let yourself roll up. Do a little more knee resilience stuff here. So bend into your knees, let your feet be parallel. We're just going to take our knees and kind of play with that rotational stuff we did while we were sitting and draw your knees in circles. Now, our knees can really move in more directions than just a hinge. And so it's important that we train and load all those directions so that when it happens in the course of our life, right, those tissues are ready and resilient. So just switch directions a couple of times. Just kind of drawing circles over your ankles with your knees, and everything will kind of shift in your feet, and that's fine. And then you can just come up to standing. Find yourself parallel feet at the top of your mat. So just take a walk up to the top of your mat. We'll move through a couple of lunging salutations. Inhale and reach high. And then exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Engage your whole back body. So even engage through your glutes, calves, hamstrings, between your shoulder blades. And then exhale, fold. Take a big step back with your left foot, and then bring your left knee down to come into a low lunge, and then inhale yourself up. We're going to keep our hands at our hips, and you can have your back toes tucked or untucked. And we're just going to find those circles with your knee here. Go one direction, and then the other direction. And then let yourself bend your knees forward of your toes, and you can bring your fingers to the floor and just stretch the back of that calf and hamstring. And tuck your back toes, lift that back knee, plant your hands and just step back into downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale, high and straight tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, find a bend in your knees. Take a walk up to the top of your mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift and really find the support through your spine. So you're sending your sitting bones back, your inner thighs back, lifting through your lower belly, and then exhale to fold. And in this fold, you can use that deep, deep lower belly right above your pubic bone to feel like you're drawing yourself closer to your thighs. And then inhale yourself all the way up to standing, reach high. Exhale your hands to your heart. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale your right foot back. Exhale your right knee down and just find that low lunge again. Your back toes can be tucked or untucked. And just find those circles of your knee. Just load that knee around. And this back lower knee, if it's sensitive when it's on the floor, you can always just pat it with a blanket. So stir that around 1 or 2 more times in each direction. And then you will bend forward. You can bring your fingers to the floor, but you can let your knee come past your toes. Really stretch through the back. Work on this dorsiflexion of your ankle. And then plant your hands, lift your back knee, step back into your downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Take your walk to the top of your mat. And inhale, find your halfway lift. Really sending your sitting bones back. Bending your knees as much as you need to let your spine be long. And open through your heart. Exhale to fold. Inhale yourself all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a big step back with your left foot. And set yourself up for a warrior 2 here. So my right toes are pointing straight to the right. My left toes are turning in a little bit. Now, think of this. We've got this external rotation happening in your right hip and a little bit of internal rotation happening in your left, okay? And you can move your pelvis a little bit. And then let your arms come wide. And we'll just straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. And just notice the load on your knee. We want to be pretty symmetrical here when we're loading this knee and letting your knee cap kind of point the same direction as your second and third toe. We'll come to a straight. Okay, and this time we'll take our triangle pose standing up. So you can remember we did this laying on our backs, and it was really different when we had that support of the floor underneath us. It inhibited the movement of our hips here. See if you can draw this right outer hip back and engage through your right glute. So we've got some external rotationing happening of this right hip, but then push down into your right big toe. Lengthen through your left heel. And then you can drop that right hand down, maybe underneath your knee to your shin, your ankle, right? But we're really want to keep the integrity of our spine here. Open through your heart. And then go ahead and come on up. Parallel your feet and then just switch left foot out to the left and right toes in slightly. Find your warrior two here. So we've got external rotation happening in this left hip, internal rotation happening in this right hip. And your left knee is tracking more or less over that second and third toe of your left foot. Bring your arms out, and we'll just straighten and bend that knee. And all along, we're just kind of cycling through that, recognizing what's happening, allowing it to be there, investigating what it needs, and then offering some nurturing care. Go ahead and let your legs stay straight. We'll draw this right outer hip back. So now I've got this external rotation, deepening, moving my pelvis a little more so I can tip my torso, let my spine be long, reach my left hand down and my right arm up. And just feel the foundation of your feet. So you can engage through that left outer hip, but push into your left big toe ball mound. So you kind of have this spiral of activation up that left leg. And then notice what support you need in your belly to support your spine. And then go ahead and come on up. And we'll just switch sides. Turn your right toes to the right. Come into your warrior two again. And this time we'll make our way into side angle pose. Bring your right forearm onto your right thigh and lengthen that left arm alongside your ear. Engage that right glute underneath you. Push through your left heel, lengthen out through your fingertips, and let yourself feel open through your heart. Find the support that you need through your lower belly in a way that is supportive but not constricting. So let yourself be able to have lots of space around your whole rib cage for your breath. So you're not finding a whole lot of tension in your body, just support. And now with our torso over to the right already, lengthen through that right leg and find your triangle pose again. You can reach that left arm straight up and just notice the difference of coming in through a different pattern. Take one more breath. And then feel like you're squeezing your legs toward each other without moving them anywhere. And then feel like someone's pulling that left arm up for you to come up to standing. Parallel your feet. And then we'll just switch sides. Left toes to the left. Bend into that left knee. Left forearm on your left thigh. Reach your right arm alongside your ear. And just find that length here. And find space through your neck. Length through your spine. Support through your belly. Space in your lower back. Plenty of space in your rib cage to breathe. And now from here, we're already leaning over. Bring that left leg towards straight. And then reach your left hand down, right arm up. And find your triangle from this new direction. Push into that right big toe ball mound. And you can engage through that, your left big toe ball mound. Engage through your left outer hip. But you can push through your right big toe ball mound too. And then push down through the center of that right heel. Okay, now feel like you're squeezing your feet toward each other without moving them anywhere. Come on up. Parallel your feet. And then just hold a beach ball, imaginary beach ball behind your back with your elbows. Lead with your heart to come halfway forward. Just going to come halfway and then feel the support there. Soften your knees if you need to. Bring your hands to the floor. And then just let yourself bow when you're forward fold. If you need blocks or anything under your hands to bring the floor closer to you, do that in a way that is supportive of your back. So our hinge here is happening at the hip crease. Okay. And now we'll enter our triangle pose here from this wide leg forward fold. So you'll just turn your right toes to the right and then walk your hands over to the right and reach your left arm up. And find all that action. So really recognize what's happening in your body. You can recognize what's happening in that hip, in the back of that right leg, in your spine. Investigate what it needs, and then nurture yourself with that support, that length, that space, that letting go of resistance. Maybe even let your gaze go up toward your top hand. And then go ahead, cartwheel that left hand down, and bend into that right knee. Walk your hands back to your left. Find your wide-legged forward fold here. You can sway your hips from side to side. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Let yourself fold, maybe even a little more. And then we'll walk our hands over to the left. Turn those left toes to the left, right toes in just slightly. And then bring that left hand. You can bring it outside of your foot, on your shin, wherever feels appropriate for your body here. And just notice what's happening on this side from this new entry. Breathe 360 degrees around your rib cage. Get some external rotation in your upper arm bones. Length through your spine. Maybe look up at that top hand. And then bring your right hand down. Walk your hands toward the center. Find your standing forward fold. And exhale your hands to your hips. Bend to your knees and just roll yourself up to standing. And then turn to the top of your mat, and we'll just take a big step up to the top of your mat. We're going to do one more entry into our triangle pose from a high lunge. So just inhale and reach high. And exhale to fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Move your fingertips to the floor. And if you need blocks, you can always grab a floor or something to make the floor a little closer. Step back into a high lunge. And from here, we'll just straighten and bend that front knee, keeping your back knee lifted. And I've got my heel lifted also. So my hips right now are staying square to the top of my mat. Connect with this with your breath. And have your hands up as high as they need to be so this feels available for your back. So you can be here. Next time your leg comes straight, you're going to dial that left heel down and then just peel your left arm up into your triangle pose from here. And just notice the gift of entering from a different perspective, from a different pattern. You've been here so many times this practice, just see what it is that makes it feel more available for you and how it feels best in your body, right? What height and length feels the most supportive and open at the same time. Bend into that knee, lift your back heel, and just step forward. Find your halfway lift. Exhale to fold, and we'll just step that right foot right back and set up on the other side. Blocks under your hands, whatever you need to find enough space to straighten and bend this front leg. And just let yourself breathe naturally. Let's just do one more. And next time your left leg gets straight, dial that right heel down and then peel your right arm up into your triangle pose. And again, explore. Let yourself breathe. Notice what your body needs. And take one more round of breath. And we'll bring that right hand down. Plant your hands. Last time will be in downward facing dog. Or you can have your knees down and find a puppy pose if that would feel better. Move your hands back. And then we'll do a couple of holds in Janu Shirshasana. So if you have props, if you've got blocks or a bolster, I would just encourage you to find something where we can just be supported and hang out. So I'm going to extend I've got my right leg extended, left foot into the inner thigh, and take my bolster here in front of my pubic bone, and then probably find a block. So I have somewhere just to rest my head, that I am high enough that I'm feeling some sensation in the back of my right leg, but not overtaxing my lower back. And then just let yourself really kind of relax into this. Another good way to do this could be with a folding chair, and you could put a blanket or something on the edge of the folding chair and just let your leg go kind of under the chair and fold and rest your forehead on the seat of the chair. And you hold. Just recognize sensation in your body. And notice if you're resisting it at all. So you can allow. And just even notice what happens, just that act of allowing. Bring your awareness into that place and just investigate. What does this place need? What can I do different? What can I let go? What can I shift? And that allowing is letting go of judgment, of this is wrong, something should be different here. It's just, this is what it is. It's saying yes to what's happening. And that act of letting go, that resistance, that doubt, that fighting, is the thing that allows us to have more space to act. Let's just take 2 more breaths here. Go ahead and come up. And just switch sides. Lengthen my left leg, and my right foot in. And set myself up. So I have a support for my forehead so that I'm not really having to use any strength to hold myself up. And let it be high enough that you feel plenty of support in a place that then you can completely relax and let go. So again, like chair. I forgot I had a chair here. You could do it like this. And just bring the forehead to the chair. This middle part's kind of cold. I'd rather have a blanket over it, but it's just an example. Now, as you breathe and hold, return to that ring. Recognize, allow, investigate, nurture, and really see if you can just let yourself melt. Definitely adjust if you need to. This pressure on your forehead, on your third eye, is a real good signal to your whole nervous system that it's time to relax. Notice what's happening in your shoulders, your face, whole length of your arms and your hands. And just release any tension there. And go ahead and bring yourself up. Right, and we'll set up for our final relaxation. So I'm actually going to use my bolster. If you've got folded blankets, if you have blocks, You could take your blocks on a couple different levels and then just stack a folded blanket on top to make it a little more soft and cushy. I'm going to take a block under this end and put the length of my bolster here. And then bring the back of my pelvis to the back of my bolster and lower down. And then let your legs go long. You could always bring a folded or rolled blanket underneath your knees. But just take your time to get yourself set up. And rock your head from side to side. Find a comfortable place for your arms. If this feels like a lot on your shoulders in a way that you can't relax, you could always bring some pillows underneath your forearms. So the whole goal here is to kind of make yourself a little nest that you can completely relax into, that you're supported in. And then bring your awareness to your breath. And take 5 breaths with a double inhale and then a long exhale. So we'll just inhale, inhale, and then you can exhale for as long as you possibly can. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Do that a few more times, 2 or 3 more times at your own pace. So inhale, and inhale. Long exhale. And after that conscious breathing, just let go of the effort of breathing and let your body just breathe itself. Completely relax your forehead, your eyes, your jaw, your tongue, your throat. And let the rest of your body just mirror the relaxation in your face. Hopefully you set yourself up comfortably where you're supported and just let yourself notice any urges to wiggle or move. Just allow them to be there and notice and investigate. Find a little pause before you take any action. Just notice what happens to that urge. If you just allow it without a knee-jerk reaction, without an instant reaction. Ideally, you'd stay here for 5 or 10 more minutes if you can. Just really letting yourself sink into relaxation. Just let yourself stay. And feel the power of allowing. And divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste.